So Tom Quinlan here again, and one of the goals that we have in these gospel reflections is that for those of you who are parents, that you read these gospels, you pray with them, you consider them, and you reflect upon how you can share your understanding of the gospels with your family, with your children. And one of the ways I suggest is that families gather around and read the Sunday lectionary readings, or at least the gospel for that Sunday, as a family and prayerfully reflect upon it, asking questions of what does this mean for our lives? What does God want for us in our relationship with God and to one another? So our gospel reading for October 25th is very famous also and rather brief. It's Matthew 22, 34 to 40. And I'm actually going to read this. When the Pharisees heard that Jesus had silenced the Sadducees, they gathered together, and one of them, a scholar of the law, tested him by asking, "Teacher, which commandment in the law is the greatest?" He said to him, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul and with all your mind. This is the greatest and the first commandment. The second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. The whole law and the prophets depend on these two commandments." Well, this is about as dense and rich a short passage in the Gospels as we're going to read. Jesus encapsulates the law and the prophets in one great commandment, which is to love God with every fiber of your being, with your heart, your mind, your soul. Reserve nothing, hold nothing back from God. Give yourself away in love, back to the God who loves you with every fiber of his being. Because this ultimately is the greatest love story ever told between God and you, God and each of us. And then there's this second commandment that Jesus says is right there with the first one, and that's to love your neighbor as yourself, to love others in a similar way, fully giving yourself away to others, surrendering yourself in love for others. So from a Catholic perspective, we embrace both of these. It's not just about my relationship with God, what we call the vertical relationship. It's the greatest commandment, to love God fully. But the horizontal one, that plane, is where we can embody that love. We can demonstrate the love we have for God in how we are forgiving and patient and kind and generous, indeed loving with others. So it's a beautiful, simple encapsulation. Love God and love others. And it isn't our incarnational, our putting our faith into action, our incarnational love of others that we can demonstrate to God. Not just saying that I love you, God, but I'm going to put it into action. I'm going to take the love you have, pour that love out, be a sacramental presence in the world for others, an instrument of your love for others who are in my life, family, coworkers, neighbors, friends, and beyond. And that will be a gift of my life and a demonstration of my love that I lift back and offer to you. So that's the equation. There's a vertical axis and a horizontal one, and Jesus is calling us to both. And so my question for you to reflect upon and to talk about with your children or family or friends is, how well do you give yourself fully to God, reserving nothing? Are there parts of you that you keep from God because you're ashamed, or you just don't think God cares, or for whatever reason? God wants all of you, every single bit of you. So don't hold anything back. A prayer that I've come to love, it's called a surrender novena, is, "Oh Jesus, I surrender myself to you. Take care of everything. Oh Jesus, I surrender myself to you. I reserve nothing. I hold nothing back in my love for you," which is in response to the love that you have for me. And then, of course, how well do we embody the love of Jesus to those in our lives, closest to us, and then those moving out into our work relationships, our friendships, etc. Thanks for listening.